9710 or WhatsApp 287-0971. Call the office at 572-0383 or 572-0215. Rev-Up St. Lucia, the alpha of radio.
Up next, Unrestricted with Lotus. Remember, you can watch us on Facebook, on YouTube, and also on X. Without further ado, let's say good morning and a hearty welcome to the lovely Lotus. Lotus, good morning to you.
Good morning, Adri. Good morning. How are you?
I'm well.
You well?
Yes, I'm very well, as a matter of fact.
Good. I'm good too.
I think this time of the year is very exciting. I'm talking about the whole elections
thing. Yes,
yeah.
man. This morning I was laughing on my way down, just listening to the songs. You know, one of the things, you hear a lot of people quarrel and they get angry, but it's also a time of a lot of laughter. There's, especially in the advent of social media, there's a lot of jokes, a lot of memes, you know. So and I have to say, our St. Lucian people are so creative.
Yes, our artists, you mean? I mean, generally, yes.
Not
in
just
general,
the artists,
yes, but we're talking
the
about
artists, the people. I mean, sometimes when you see the jokes, I cannot even believe that people would think of these things. But the level of creativity is at an all-time high.
Yeah, so we have to say bravo to both parties.
Yes, I'm telling you.
For engaging our local artists to produce those songs that are really creative.
And I'm telling you, the young people start to dance and wail up when they hear some of the songs.
Me too.
So it's something else. But welcome back, everyone. Good morning to all our listeners, all our viewers on Facebook, on YouTube, on X, online, Radioland. Welcome back. Good morning. Welcome to Unrestricted. This morning, we're gonna have an interesting conversation. I wanted to talk about Andre.
You talk about me?
No, not Andre. No, it came out wrong, Andre. No, I don't want to talk about you, Andre.
Say what?
But I just said Andre after. But I wanted us to discuss, and hopefully our callers will engage me. Does your academic accolades define you?
Good one.
Think about it, Andre.
Good one.
So this morning we're going to talk about academic arrogance, right? Because sometimes, I think the way the world is going, sometimes we forget who we are. We lose our personalities when we are academically inclined, or when we have many accolades, we have many degrees, we have our masters. And the thing about it is that it's fantastic when you are motivated to do well, to get education, to pursue your dreams, and your academic, pursuits is part of that too. So it's really good that when you are motivated to do that, it opens so much doors in your life. But many times you see us forget who we are, and we forget our own personalities, and along the way we lose everything because of our academic arrogance.
When you say we lose everything,
we lose our way, we lose our humanity, we lose our personalities. People stay away from us. We cannot even communicate properly. We cannot relate to our peers, and even people who we feel that are below our level, we cannot relate to them. We cannot relate to people who are on the same level sometimes, because, of course, of the academic arrogance that we have now gotten. So our heads become so swollen, and it's always in the clouds. So we become deluded.
Yeah, that's a tough one to manage, Lotus.
It is
that's
very
a tough one,
because
especially when you have knowledge. You have knowledge. And based on facts that you're right about certain things. Let me give you a little example. I like little stories.
Okay.
I remember I was dating this lady once upon a time, and she was I'm a stickler for proper pronunciation.
Okay.
Once I hear something pronounced badly or wrongly,
you get.
I usually it irritates me, and I want to say, hey, that's not how it's pronounced. This is how you pronounce it. Now, maybe my way of doing it maybe is a kind of a turn off. That's a possibility. But I think if I'm close to the person, I should be free enough to say that to you, so. Right? And I remember I was correcting this person, saying, here's how you pronounce that particular word, and I kept doing that all the time. But she never said anything to me. She never said anything to me until after we were about to break up. And then
That's when you get the
She
mipui.
dropped it in my skin. You trying to tell people how to pronounce words. So that came out then. I said, poor Jay. I said, well, boy, maybe.
You never realized.
Yeah,
how bad
maybe
it
I
was.
shouldn't have done that, So that's why I said to you, it's tough. It's
Well,
a tough one.
It's tough if you, and that's what we're going to talk about it. It's tough if you let your academic accolades be your self-validation and your personality. It defines you. There are some people, they have one degree or they went to a particular school that is, considered the top school, and that's the only thing they hold on to. They don't see themselves as more than that. They don't extend their own ability to grow and their own ability to expand, in the world, other than holding on to the accolades that they have. But the sad part about it is that we die.
That's true.
We die. We, things change. We become obsolete. Some of the knowledge that we have, it no longer is required. And now, in the day of in the time of social media and technology, you see that more than anything. And with AI coming on board, a lot of people with their accolades and if you're not catching up to being able to fit in, it could really break you as a person. So academic arrogance is a real thing, and sometimes we have to really watch how we let our own accolades take over our lives in a negative way. From the official intellectualist group, I have a little vignette. It says, academic arrogance is the perception that some people in higher education are superior due to their knowledge or position, leading to behaviors like dismissing others, refusing to consider alternative ideas, and exhibiting a lack of humility or gratitude, sometimes fueling internal conflicts that amplify self-importance. This perceived entitlement and self-importance can damage individual growth and the reputation of the higher education of higher education by creating a disconnect with the practical world and a dismissive attitude towards public support. So if you have that kind of, where you feel like your level is so high, like you cannot even, you dismiss everybody, you feel like your way is always the best way because you have these accolades. And the sad part about it is that we have accolades in a particular field. So that means it's such a small part of the world in terms of the amount of the many topics and the many areas that are there to cover in the world that we know nothing about. So really, are we really self-sufficient in terms of our own intellectual capabilities, really? Because most times, Andre, you study in a particular field, right? You study in a particular field, so you don't know anything in other things. So you might have your degree in mass communication, but your plumber will come here and you know nothing about fixing pipes.
Exactly.
So you cannot talk down to him. But what this is saying is that a lot of times when people feel they are at a particular level academically, or even where their accolades are concerned, they have many awards, they have many, people pay attention to them when they come into the room. They begin to develop those attitudes where they dismiss others, or they belittle you, or they look down on you and feel like they are in the room, so you must bow down.
I get your point.
Yes, and I think a lot of us, we don't realize that we are like that a lot of times, and most times people do not call you out because they feel that you will either attack them or make them feel even smaller. So many times people that exhibit those characteristics, people don't even say anything to them. They don't even say anything to them. They let them walk around looking like that and really ending up looking stupid.
Well, I think, as you said earlier, people leave you.
Yes, people leave
stay away from you.
Because that kind of behavior is not. But a lot of us support it as well. A lot of us support it, and I think as we go through the list, we'll look at some of the things where we have to watch how we encourage or feed those egos and appetites along the way as well, because people don't stay and just get like that just because of the accolades and academic achievements. You put it's like a spoiled child. You make them feel that way. You do things, you feed their egos. Parents, for instance, some of our parents, they will show favoritism to their children who are more academically inclined than those who have less. So you find some parents they will have 6 or 7 children. They will never talk about the 3 or 4 that are not lawyers. You know what I mean? So then that child who is a lawyer will feel, okay, I mean I'm the end all be it all of the family because I'm always the reference. That's always your father or your mother's default. So it shows us a level of pride more for the person who has, more academic accolades than the child who probably is an electrician doing something, maybe he doesn't have a degree, that kind of thing. So we also have to watch how much we feed that. The characteristics of academic arrogance is that, 1, belief in intellectual superiority, and that's what we just spoke about, a conviction that one's academic expertise or academic rank makes them inherently better than others. And so where does that come from? Like, when you feel like you have gained your academic excellence or your academic achievements, that you feel you are better.
I think it starts in the system. When I say the system, the education system. Let's just
interesting.
Take it down to St. Lucia.
Yeah,
it's been like that for eons, and I thought it was changing to some degree with universal secondary education. It has changed a little, but you still hear it. This child now is eligible to go to that particular institution. Okay, and we still, despite all what we know right now, we still look at certain schools in this country as being above the others. Okay,
yes.
Even if I said to you, we've made some strides. Governments have tried to change that sort of thinking, but then you have, as I said, the whole system. You have those in government. They big up those children that excel, and they make a big deal about it, and so on.
True.
So I think we kind of programmed to
you made a very good point
act
there.
that way.
I just wanted to extend on the point you made, because even when those institutions are, maybe the top one, like we watch it as the top one, that some of the children who go to those schools, they end up not performing as well when they get there. Sometimes you have, or even someone who has left to go and do a degree or a master's, they come back and they probably have not done as well in that area, or they come into the world of work and you recognize that they have 2 or 3 degrees, but they cannot execute the work. But then I guess the veil over their head, or the thing that gives them that umph, or that probably privilege of feeling that they are better, is having those accolades.
The fact that they know.
The fact that they have, they have that. So that's one of them. The other one is the dismissal of other viewpoints, a tendency to reject ideas or information that doesn't fit within the existing theoretical frameworks or belief systems. So our academic excellence, where one person, if you recognize you are like that, is that you dismiss other people's viewpoints. You feel like you come to the table, and maybe there are 6 people at the table, and maybe 2 degrees, and sometimes they decide they're not even taking part in the discussion because the discussion is too below them, or they take part in the discussion, but the viewpoints of others are dismissed almost immediately, because really I should not be listening to you. You don't have the kind of accolades that I have, or the academic prowess,
or the knowledge. So but that's a fatal mistake, because the thing about it is that, as you very well know, and you hear people say that all the time, many of our parents did not go to university. They didn't have a college education, but some of the things they were able to do, some of the personalities that they had, when you compare it sometimes even to us, we realize that we were so our knowledge and our street smarts were almost zero, right? And then you're the one with the degree, right? But when you look at your parents, when you look at people who some people who did not have that opportunity to get a degree, they're so much smarter than you. And when you take on their viewpoints, you can also inculcate that into what you yourself think that you know. You know what I'm saying? Because many times we think we know, Andre? We think our knowledge, our formal education makes us all-knowing and As I was saying to you at the beginning, Lotus, the issue of balance.
Mm-hmm.
How do you balance this thing? Let me tell you what I mean. Because sometimes you don't want to come across as arrogant or you think you know it all. That's not your intention. That's not your motive.
That's right.
Right? So I'm talking about the person who has a genuine interest and care, maybe for friends, for family, and you don't, because of your knowledge
Yes.
and because of your experience, you don't want that person or persons to go down a particular road because you kind of know where that's heading already. Why? Because you've been there already. It's like my grandmother used to say, before the thing reached the corner, I see it already. Now, it sounds a little arrogant, but that's what she said. In other words, I've been there. I've done that sort of
Yes,
thing.
yes.
And generally, these things lead down a certain road, right? So when you have to try to balance this thing where you see where this thing is going already because of your experience and the knowledge and the facts that you have in your head, and you're trying to warn people, okay, and they wouldn't listen. So how do you balance this thing?
Well, basically, as we look at the characteristics, remember, the word arrogance itself is not a positive word, and so is how I think is understand, because you said love and care. You said care. When you care and when you are concerned, then you are not arrogant in how you disseminate the information. Because there are some of us who know we know a lot of things, but it's important to sit and to listen. I think that's how you balance it as well, where you put people in a space where they're willing to accept your help, if that makes sense. You know, you make me feel comfortable that I can listen to you, Andre, and I can make a mistake, and like you said with your girlfriend, you corrected her all the time. And maybe it's the way, like you said, you were doing it. It made her feel like she probably couldn't make a mistake, or she probably had to be more aware of the mistakes that she was making.
Yeah, and I was thinking that she would have felt okay with that.
Well, it's the way. You remember you
Right.
said maybe it's the way, because you're right. Sometimes for me, when I'm writing, if I see, okay, for instance, I have a peeve where if a guy is trying to chat me and he spells a word wrong, it turns me off. So he'll say to me, good morning, I really like your hair. HERE. and I will be like, and I'm petty, like I'll be like, what do you mean your hair, or we are here, or like what are you talking about? But
I
now,
understand exactly what you're saying.
You know what I mean? So
Right. I understand exactly what you're saying.
But that peeve, even then, I may miss out on a good guy that just made a mistake.
Well,
but it kind of rubs you the wrong way.
but
And
what
it's
if
the way?
what if that thing is repeated and you see it's maybe he is not well educated and so on.
Well, the thing is, you decide based on your standards and what you want to accept for yourself. You decide whether or not that's something you can sweep under the carpet.
Exactly.
Maybe I
exactly.
cannot get over you telling me that you like my hair, HERE. It sticks, Andre. It makes you feel.
Or somebody's messaging you, just no commas, no period.
That's what I'm saying.
Nothing.
Now,
It's
some
like-
of us are more formal. Somebody will say, okay, well, that doesn't mean anything if you're having an informal conversation. But like you say, some of us who are more, we more sensitive to, like, again, proper pronunciation. There sometimes maybe you say an artist's name and you do not say it properly, and somebody will be like, oh my God, it's not that, But I think it's the way. I think it's the K, the lack of K.
Because the thing is, Lotus, this person who's in your life, you take them around, and your friends, family, right? Business associates,
yes.
People who have maybe government ministers, you happen to be in a certain environment, and to hear that person dropping some bullets there.
Well, that's the thing.
Say, oh my God.
Because you're also more concerned about your own image. I think that's what it is too.
No, but what about the person's image as well? How it
it's
makes
true.
them look.
But I think a lot of us, we are affected more because of our image. Actually.
Well, that too as well.
Because you're bringing a girl to introduce a girl to me, and then maybe the girl says something, and I'm
Don't
like,
lie, Lotus. If I introduce you to a girl,
Andre, I'll
and she
laugh.
tell you,
because
and she tell you, Andre, I'm Lotus, I'm going down there.
yes, well, I wouldn't laugh right there, but I mean afterwards, Andre, I'll call you and I'll say, Andre, what's that?
Exactly.
I think you'll do me the same thing, but I think, I mean, coming out of the joke, Andre, it's you ask about balance. I think it's how you approach or what you do with that knowledge and that wisdom. I read something recently that made so much sense. It says that we have to filter our emotions through our wisdom, before we use words.
And repeat that?
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
You must filter your emotions through wisdom before it comes out as words.
In other words, think about what you say before you say it.
Well, if you filter it through the wisdom, meaning what you know or what you know to be true. When you are emotional, Andre, or even, you use your emotions in terms of how you feel about something. She has made a mistake. She made a bullet. You have to filter that emotion, that emotional response that you want to give. Filter it through your wisdom. How do you talk to people? What do you use? Before the words come out? How many of us are able to do that, Andre?
Well, I tell you, what I learned from that experience, I said from that day, I'm not doing that anymore.
You're not doing that anymore. So you're not correcting anybody?
No. Once you can make a ton of bullets, I can mammy.
I don't know. I'm concerned about that. Share our numbers, Andre.
Okay.
So that we
The
can...
fixed line is 572-9710. Fixed line 572-9710. Or you can WhatsApp 287-0971. WhatsApp is 287-0971. Again, the fixed line 572-9710. WhatsApp is 287-0971.
Okay. The other characteristic of academic arrogance is self-aggrandizement. It is an exaggerated praise of one's own accomplishments and knowledge, often stemming from an ego or a need to prove superiority. And some people are addicted to that, Andre, where they want you to know that they're in the room. They want you to hear their voices. They want you to give them that kind of reverence, and it's almost like they beg for that attention, and it really makes them look desperate in terms of that praise. And I'm not sure if it's because some of us were treated poorly as children or told we were not going to amount to anything, and so when we have the accolades and we have the academic achievements, we want to focus on it all the time. We want to say, and some of us, even like I said, some of us have had maybe a master's in, say, business administration or something else for 50 years, and we still talk about 50 years ago, because we're so stuck on what we have achieved and it almost defines who we are. We don't want to get out of that. We want people to continue to see us, continue to praise us, continue to focus. I remember one time a friend of mine introduced me to a guy. She said to me, I think maybe you might like this guy. He's very bright, he's a PhD, he just wrote a book. And I was like, okay, I don't know that was necessary, but she said she thought, that we would have a nice discussion. Have a call?
Yes, you do.
Oh, I'll finish the story afterwards.
Of course.
Good morning. Welcome to Unrestricted. Hello?
Andre.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
It's
Good
a little...
morning.
Yes.
Can you hear me, Lotus?
Yes, a little better, yes.
Okay. Great topic, first of all.
Thank you.
Andre, it's okay to correct. Is that why you don't correct me when I make a mistake, Andre?
No.
Like, you make fun instead, but I say the word is Canada, but I would say Canada, right? It's okay to correct me, right? Anyway, I just wanted to put your legs on that. Andre.
That's okay. That's fine.
You should still correct, but I'm giving you the permission to correct me.
Well, okay. I'll keep that in mind.
Lotus, this topic is so intense that I guess we're thinking of workplace and stuff, but those things happen in relationships so often.
That's right.
One of the partner would have a university degree. I'm using myself as an example. I didn't even finish elementary school, and he would always make fun of what I would say. I would say put the pan on the fire, and he was like, the pan, where's the fire?
Oh my God.
I mean, yes, it's the stove, but in St. Lucia we have fire. We actually have fire.
I see what you're saying.
And there was an incident where I was talking and I said, the precipice, and it's like, where do you learn this word from? You didn't go to university. I learned this word in university. Where did you learn this from? It's like no matter what I did or say, he always finds something wrong with it because he went to university and I did not.
Yes, yes.
But you guys also made a statement. I can't say exactly, but it's almost like you need to think of what you say.
Yes, yes.
And that's what I have learned, to actually think of what I'm saying before I even say it. So I don't do bullets, you know? Right?
So you find you
So-
find you walk on eggshells a little bit?
Well, I used to walk on eggshell. Look, I say shell.
No, that's okay.
Eggshell. I used to, but then I guess, having self-esteem and realizing
Yes.
that those people just belittling you and they want to make themselves feel better. Some of
Exactly.
them,
Exactly.
it's not that, and Andrew, maybe that's what, sometimes the partner don't think that you're correcting them because you love them, but, some partners, and I'm not saying you did that, Andre, that they actually belittle you. They use that to make themselves feel better.
That's right. Yes.
And that is wrong. And not because
Exactly.
you didn't go to university, that means that you cannot speak properly,
Exactly.
or you cannot, have a communication that makes sense with people. So that really, really affects relationships.
Yes, yes. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was an amazing contribution, because Andre, it's very common in relationships, for true, that she's saying again, where one person and that shows a lack of maturity as well. And that's why I said your personality, it shows a lack of your maturity as somebody who is so-called, in inverted commas, educated, formally educated, where you feel that it's okay to tell somebody something in a bad way to make them feel small. And that's what we're talking about.
And that's what I was saying earlier about the motive.
Yeah.
If your motive is pure, but sometimes people don't understand what you're saying.
Exactly.
Because you want good for them.
You want good for them,
Yeah.
but again, it's the way. That's what we were saying. It's the way. You do it with love. You okay, Andre? You
Sorry.
want me to come and hit your
My
back?
throat is dry. Sorry.
Be careful, You want them to do better, so the way you say things, or the way you treat them, the way you make them feel, if you are truly educated, they're not going to feel small when you say something, or you focus on yourself. So I was talking about the guy. So she introduced me to the guy and she left. And as soon as the guy said his name, he came over, he said his name, and I said my name. He just went into the book that he had written. He had just written this book, and I don't even think he heard my name.
Wow.
He was just talking about this book and in his thesis, and I just would like to tell you why. And I was just,
I think I know that guy.
no, you don't. No, you don't, Andre. But I mean, Andre, I was totally flabbergasted. I just thought to myself,
He's not even asking about you.
well, this person will never hear what I say. You know what I mean? There's a scene in a movie, I think it's Think Like a Man. I'm sure if the viewers have seen it, they'll know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I have.
Where Taraji is talking to this guy. Of course, they both are educated. We have a call.
Yes, we do. This is Unrestricted.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to Unrestricted.
Good morning.
Good morning.
2 days in a row, Andre.
Pardon?
2 days.
Oh,
in
2
a
days
row.
in a row. Yes, she called yesterday. Yeah. Thanks a lot for calling.
Hi.
Again.
Good morning, Lotus. Good morning, Andre.
Good
Morning.
morning.
So I think language is important. How you speak is important. But I will say the reverse is also true sometimes, because communication is a tool to get your message across. I think in some settings you will drop bullets, but I think in other settings you will adjust your way of speaking, your vocabulary to fit in.
That's
so
right.
you will say these, I going down there, because the people you're with, that's how they're talking.
Yeah.
But then when you're in front of at work, or you're a teacher, you will adjust.
That's right.
You will use the terms so that your message gets across. Now, I remember watching news back home, and people used to say, irregardless, non-stop.
They still
That
say it.
used to drive me. That used to drive me nuts.
Yeah.
Because I was like, is this a word? I've never heard this word. I looked it up. That's not anywhere. But it's a concept. And then you have to also make the difference between what is colloquial, cultural language, like put the pan on the fire. That's cultural language.
That's right.
We don't use stove. Put the pan on the fire. Everybody in St. Lucia understands what that means. But you go somewhere else, it might not. It sounds odd. The British say, "Oh, I'm going to the loo." What is a loo? Where's the loo? What? Like you say that in St. Lucia, people be like, "What you talking about? Where's that? Where you come from?" So, language is dynamic, and you must adjust how you speak based on your audience, your environment, and it is something that is learned.
Exactly.
Like nobody's born with words. You have to work on it.
You have to work on
And
it. Yes.
And that's irrelevant of your education, because you could have, as the lady previous caller, you could have not completed secondary school, primary school, but you make an effort to educate yourself and to speak well. You read, you see words in a book you don't understand, you look it up so that you can use it in the proper context.
But how does that
language is learned?
But how does that correlate with your academic arrogance? That's what we're really talking about. People who feel like they're so much better. So the language now is one thing, but to behave in a way where you make people feel small and you belittle them.
But that is, it's not only arrogance, but it's ignorance, because you can use your language to uplift or to demean.
Yes, exactly.
So if you're using it to demean people, then that says more about you than it does about that person.
That's right.
But how does the person know? How does the person know that you're not trying to demean them? If your motives are pure, how do you say that they can understand? It's not meant to make them feel bad or anything. You're just interested in them becoming better.
But it mustn't land as a painful, like a hurt, Andre.
But how do you
exactly?
Tell Andre.
Okay.
I said. Okay, you said. You've said this word. I remember epitome. I think that had happened on one of the shows, and the speaker says epitome. So you okay? I heard you say this. I looked it up, and apparently this is how you say it. I didn't even know myself. You can use yourself and say, "Oh, I didn't know, but it didn't sound right, and I didn't know what it meant, so I looked it up." And this is how it should be said. So that way, you're not making it seem like you knew they said it wrong, but you're like, "Oh, I didn't know either." So we learned together. Like, "Oh, interesting." Yeah, words are fascinating. It depends. Pronunciation also depends on where you're from. Secretary. So again, depends on where you're from.
Yes.
But if you do it in a genuine way, and I mean with the work that you do, Andre, you can't go on TV or on radio and start saying things because people are going to come after you. So you better you have to come correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Thank you so much.
All right then.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
She made a good point, Andre. It's how it lands, Andre. I don't even think you have to say that you're not trying to demean somebody, because it's the way you will say it, and the way you will present it to your child or your spouse. You're gonna do it lovingly, right? Even when, I mean, in the loving, I know what you mean, because even my kids, my children, people, will hear them and they'll say, "Oh my God, I know that's your mom because, she's so," they're very articulate. Sometimes if they send me a text message, I will answer so formally. My son will say, "Mom, it's your son." He will, because I'll be like, "Yes, son, okay, so this and that, but I will put it in proper language. And I used to do that with them when they were younger, so that even whilst they spoke certain slang words, they would correct themselves, because I wanted them to make sure that they were speaking properly, at the right time. But again, it's how you do it, how you say it, how it lands, Andre. If you're going to demean somebody, it means that you are not okay.
But Lotus, how many times do you have to come and have to say, "I didn't know it was like that before, and now I know"? Every time you have to be using that like that?
So Andre, every time you have to correct the person, Andre, sometimes you just have to let it slide.
Exactly. So that's how I'm operating from now on.
Sometimes you have to let it slide.
Let it slide.
But then, Andre, when we talk about academic arrogance, it's when you are actually intentionally, you feel like you are better. You feel like you are better. Do you feel that you are better
No,
when you?
definitely not.
Exactly.
That's what I was saying to you about the motive. The motive is
so
that
I know you.
I want you to do better.
Yeah, so I know you, and I know.
And I
if
want
you
to
tell
protect
me,
you as well.
Exactly.
And when I say to protect, I'm talking about another situation where, because of your knowledge and your experience, you're trying to avoid that person jumping off a cliff and harming themselves.
So if you come and you tell me, the thing is, I know you, and I know you're probably not telling it to me to make me feel bad, and how you're telling it to me, I would be more inclined to accept it, as opposed to if you correcting somebody all the time and you troopsing and walking away and you pushing the chair on the side and saying, you every time like that I tell you, it's not the fire, put it on the fire. You understand?
Well,
so it depends on how it is delivered and how you make the person feel, because people will tell you they will remember somebody, they will forget somebody's face, but they will not forget how they made them feel.
Well, boy, I can tell you something.
So it's about how it is landing.
You know who you just reminded me of there?
Who?
A lot of parents.
Why you say that?
Yeah, like that you're putting out there. That's how you move that there.
Well, didn't it cause resentment, Andre?
Exactly.
Didn't it make you feel less than? It made you feel like you don't know something. For instance, some children will tell you the way their parents told them things, they felt that they were stupid.
And then now, the question is, were the parents, as you said a while ago, academically superior?
No,
exactly.
But in terms of their knowledge of just normal life things, they make you feel like you don't know what you're doing. How many times you came with a guy or girl and then your parents tell you, you know nothing. You see the girl there, you don't know. I know the girl. I have been there before. I know that kind of thing. I see the girl, the way she stand up there, one foot in front of the other. They use their own personal ways to tell you, basically, or to demean you and to tell you that you do not know what you're talking about. So, but when we talk about academic arrogance, that's part of it, not necessarily in the academic way for having their degrees, but they have the knowledge and they feel they can use it to demean you. If you use it to demean somebody or you use it to put down somebody, then you have a problem. You have to use emotional intelligence. So the guy who turned me off in a few seconds of meeting him, and I was telling you about Taraji, when she was talking to this guy about her own accolades in terms of promotion, he kept on going on and on about himself. You see what we were talking about? Self-aggrandizement. He kept on going on and on about himself, that he never heard she said she was going for something. So this guy started talking to me, and all he wanted me to hear was his book. And so the book defined him. The poor guy could not get a word about who he was as a person.
I guess he was trying to impress you.
But I was so turned off, and that's the thing. We have to understand that even with our academic accolades and our achievements, we are still human. And so that does not preclude you from pain, from embarrassment, from disappointment, from hurt, from failure. Even when you have these things, you go through these other, emotions. So you cannot let your academic achievements basically define who you are, because there's so much more apart from that. Your academic achievements does not say, okay, Andre is this degree. Andre is so much more. What about us getting the accolades that we get just to show our parents or just to show society that we actually have a degree, but we don't even want to do that, or we don't even want the degree? Many of us go to school because people say we have to go, right? And we suffer through those programs, and we don't want to do that. Or sometimes we come back and we have those degrees and we never use it. We never use the degree, Andre. Some people work in totally different fields than they actually went to school for.
That is true.
So you cannot the academic achievements that we accumulate, it just does not define us as people. And so we have to get away from that academic arrogance that you see around the place. And that brings me right into the next one, which is the lack of emotional intelligence, the inability to recognize how arrogant behavior diminishes their perceived intelligence. Because if you think you're bright and you talk to people a certain way, then everybody is watching you without the admiration that you so crave. You know what I mean? So you want the admiration. You're doing the wrong things. You're talking to people how you want. You walk into the room and asking people to get out of your way. They cannot talk to you. They cannot have a conversation with you. Your point of view is the only one that matters. I am the manager. I am the GM. Don't let me pull rank. You think people respect you for that? Now, some people might say, do they desire respect or do they desire power or maybe, that kind of admiration? But still, they don't get the admiration that they think they will get if you behave that way. So that's what I'm saying, is trying to differentiate with whether or not you are arrogant about where you are in your academic pursuits and what you feel it does for you as a person and how it brings down people in the room because you feel you are better. And that's what we're talking about. You don't think you're better, so that's not what it is when you're trying to correct. Is if you think you're better and the way you're treating people and it doesn't have any emotional intelligence attached to it. You agree?
Yes.
The other thing is
Let me just give the numbers again.
Okay.
Yeah. The first line is 572-9710, 572-9710, or WhatsApp 287-0971. WhatsApp is 287-0971. And this is Unrestricted with Lotus.
Yes. The next thing is the entitlement and lack of civility, a feeling that the rules of ordinary politeness and respect do not apply to them, leading to disrespectful or tormenting behaviors. And that is common, Andre. Some people feel that, okay, do you know who I am? Have you heard some people say that?
Of course.
Do you know who I am? I am Dr. So-and-so, or I am PWKYC, and I am, and then you're watching them like, okay, but what does that have to do with anything? And they don't want to go for the same rules as everybody else. Now, don't get me wrong, a certain level of academic achievement or certain things, when you get certain jobs or you are in certain positions, certain perks come with it. And so we do expect that we will not treat somebody who is just a normal Joe Blow as maybe the Governor General entering a building. So that is given. But if you now feel like you can just enter somewhere and disrespect people or break the rules or feel like the rules does not apply to you because of your academic prowess or because you have a PhD or you have 2 masters or you have 4 degrees, that you must be treated with
reverence.
Yes, you are coming, and even when you come to the family picnic, they have to find a special chair to put you in. Because and the sad thing about it sometimes, Andre, is that there's such the darkness of the party. Have you ever met like someone who feels that they're so academically inclined and so stupid with it that they come into a party and everybody vex?
Yeah. But the one that turns me off? The one where you have a person dominating a conversation?
Yes.
and you're trying to say something in between, and before you say 5 words, they're already dominating you already. Every time you try to say something, they're dominating you already.
Yeah, because your point of view doesn't matter, actually.
Yeah.
That's the one we said, where your point of view doesn't matter, right?
Yes. We have a call.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to Unrestricted.
And good morning to the most humble man, Andre Paul.
Good morning.
Lotus,
Thank you very much.
That is why I've never. Andre don't know exactly who I am. He just hears my voice. But this is exactly the reason why I have loved Andre, and I will keep saying it, and people will keep hearing it, and Andre will keep hearing it. And once he hears that, he'll say, "Oh, that guy." Lotus, I walked into HTS one day. That was a long time ago, very, very long time ago. I was doing I had a group called Raising the Standard Hands-On for Soufre. Okay. And I was addressing young, I wanted to promote it to speak to young people about the law, youthfulness, drugs and stuff. And without an interview, one day I went to HTS. Without an appointment, I went to HTS. And I met Andre at the door. And I said to him, can you give me an interview, so that I could promote that organization to speak with you? And humbly, you would think, well, a man of that stature would tell me, Are you just coming into the studio and look for an interview? Andre Paul told me to wait a minute, let him get the studio together. I mean, he organized his seat and everything. And Andre Paul, I tell you, the feeling was so great to see. I just walk inside of there and humbly, a man who has that kind of stature in radio, because I grew up hearing Andre Paul, that's his name. And the man just tell me, come inside. And I had one nice long interview to promote that organization. It's humble. And the man could have easily tell me, who you think you are? Who do you don't know who I am? Or you don't? And the man just, and Andre Paul brought me. That is why my love for Andre Paul has remained for so long. A humble Andre Paul. Now, on the flip side, I have known people. I know a couple, and because of one partner's stature, the other one goes somewhere, and you don't know who my partner is. Not even him, Not even her,
So
not even him, not even her.
Wow.
But walk in and say, you don't know who my partner is. Who do you think you are? And I'm saying, but wait. What is this? What is this? What kind of behavior is this? I ain't getting you nowhere. The person with all the accolade, not even exciting themselves. They're going through the movement as what it's supposed. They're not making themselves feel, I have that according to the way we call it, the perks. Yeah. We have all the perks. We have all the to say, look, I can use that strength and go through and get myself what I want. I go to the supermarket, they could just make me pass. But the other partner will say, you don't know who my partner is? As if they are entitled to what the partner have.
Yes.
And sometimes, you even get that in the Christian world. Myself, sometimes, I go to churches because I'm a real church man. And I go to places, and you call people bishop, and they tell you, Dr. Bishop. Doctor what?
Yes, that's a good one. Yes,
No,
that's true. That's true.
No, you are bishop. If I address you as bishop, I address you as bishop. Don't come and tell me you don't know who I am, Dr. Bishop. I never see Dr. Bishop in the Bible. So don't come and try and raise yourself at me and tell me you Dr. Bishop. No, I know you as so and so, I will call you that. I'm not saying I'm going to disrespect your title or disrespect your achievement. But don't try and tell me I am Dr. Bishop or I am pastor. If I say brother Paul, brother John, for you to come and tell me, no, I am pastor this. No, don't come and tell me that. Don't try and raise yourself and pretend. No, because he who exalts himself shall surely be abased by God Almighty. So don't come and raise yourself. If the brother doesn't know who you are at the moment, I understand, yes, we have to respect people's title, we have to respect people's position. But if the person does not know at the moment, or the person feel, well, we have had a long-standing relationship that I could call you Sister Paulette, Sister John, there is no reason why you should avail yourself so much that who you think you are, I am pastor this, I am apostle this, that just takes you nowhere. It takes you nowhere. And I have seen it a lot in the Christian world. I see a lot of ministers or pastors or bishops do these things. They have to call you doctor. To address them, you have to be called doctor. You have to be called apostle. No, it's brothers and sisters in Christ. That's what we are. Servant of God. And that is what I want people to understand. It's a very good subject. I think I'm happy that I was able to let some people know that. Andre Paul,
thank you.
I will forever be grateful.
Thank you.
Forever be grateful.
Well,
humbleness, my brother.
Well, you can write a check to cash.
Andre Paul.
Thank you.
All right, my brother. Have a good one.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Very much.
Bye-bye.
But let me just tell you one more thing, Andre Paul. I wanted to tell you. I heard you spoke about your brother the other day, the way that sometimes you feel down. I always want to tell again, thank you for that strength. We all miss Tony. I know, well, he was blood brother to you, but when I heard you spoke about him the other day, and I said to myself, wow, Andre Paul is holding strong. And that's a perfect example of how people should be strong in times of sorrow where they know others need them. I heard that and I said I had to tell you that, Andre.
Thank you.
That is very good of you. Very good of you. I am with you and I'm praying for you always, my brother.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care of yourself.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Yes.
That was a good contribution, Andre.
I'm trying to remember who he is. I have no idea.
But you see what he said there about, you see what he said about people, the egos and the internal conflicts, right? the manifestation of these things where people feel, I know there are certain people you cannot refer to them by their first name, even if you've known them forever.
Yes,
Or once they get the PhD or they get the position,
yeah,
you have to refer to them as that. Now, don't get me wrong, like I always say, balance is important, because I feel like some of us forget our way sometimes. I mean, if the person is in a formal setting, the person is you have to refer to the person by their, name, you do. But some of us, again, we let it define us so much that we cannot get away from being called anything else but that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's part of the manifestation too, when you look at the egos and internal conflict that people have. The competitive environment also causes that as well, Andre, where people feel that the nature of academia can encourage a desire for, accolades, leading some individuals to become spiteful, where everybody's competing, where everybody want to have a degree, everybody want to have a master's, everybody want to have a PhD, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think some of us, we for us to belong or for us to be seen at a particular standard, we push ourselves. We don't care what happens, we have to have that.
Mm-hmm. You have a call. Mm-hmm. This is Unrestricted with Lotus.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hi.
This is one thing I hate, is that when people feel they are of a higher status than other people, that they look down as people as though they are a lesser being than them.
Yeah.
Sometimes you walk into a place, they walk into a place, you are there before them. Sometimes they don't greet you. You may even extend your politeness by saying, and they won't even answer.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember I went to a bank once, and because I am blind. Usually because they know me, sometimes if I don't want to take anything, I will stay on the line if whoever is with me. And this gentleman come, you can see he's, somebody or maybe some status or whatever it is, because like the way he was talking on his phone and everything. So I was called from the back to come to the front, which I said, I think I didn't just go on. And right away he was getting on, how can you allow this woman to pass and all sorts of things like that, until he was called and telling it's because she has a disability.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
She was called to finger. That's where she said he comes. And I really always say, but then he find like, who was I? Because he's somebody of status to be called to the front. And he never did even apologize, and he was told, he just said, okay. And that was it. and that's the thing for a lot of people here. Once they feel they have a name, they have a status, they have something, they don't treat you as if you're a human being. They feel, not even a greeting, no politeness, nothing from them. And this is something, we need to change, and not because you're maybe a substatus of your academic with your doctorate or whatever, that people should look up to you and not be treated as if they sometimes you're not their equal because you're not on the same place. But no, at the end of the day, all of us are human. All of us go in the same place. But some of them just have this attitude that, once you're not in my status, or, in my class or anything, you're a nobody. And we need to change this kind of mindset and attitude. And even a simple little thing I heard somebody, if you call yourself a Christian, you call yourself, and we know Christians believe in the sacrament of marriage and all of these things. But how can I hear you telling somebody, I have a bachelor's and a master's, and all you have is just a marriage certificate? Isn't this putting somebody down to the Lord? Isn't this
Not
putting...
nice.
Not nice, yeah.
Come on. And then if you're Christian, the marriage certificate should be what holds for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a Christian, that's what hold for you, the marriage certificate that somebody's actually following. But put somebody down like that. And I heard something like that. I said, come on. And that's how we think. We think of the status, the degree and everything we have, and once you don't have none of those things, you're nobody.
That's right.
Okay,
Thank
caller.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much. Okay, we have to wrap up.
Yes, we're wrapping up, Andre. The consequences for some of these things, like we said before, I'll just wrap up, is that the consequences of academic arrogance is that you get stunted growth, dismissing others' ideas, and failing to engage with real-world problems hinders personal and intellectual development. So even if you believe in education and you believe in growing, if you behave with arrogance, you stunt your own growth. Because then you do not open yourself up to personal and intellectual development. And dysfunctional environments. Arrogant individuals can create toxic atmospheres in academic departments, damaging the reputations of where they are, and you cannot use your academic achievements as a scapegoat for your real personality. Let your personality shine through, because you might actually be a really, really great person.
And I might add to that, be a good listener.
Be a good, yes. Thank you, Andre. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. This one was a little tight, a little intense, Andre, but that's what Unrestricted is about.
That's correct.
Sometimes tense, sometimes loose.
Okay, but it was good. Thank you very much, Lotus.
Thank you
for
so
your
much,
service
Andrew.
as always.
Thank you guys for listening.
Okay.
And thank you, callers.
Okay, so this has been Unrestricted, hosted by Lotus. Join us again next week, Wednesday, same time, from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now, stand by for Mind Matters with Dr. Julius Gilliard. So those of you on Facebook, etc., we'll take a little break and get back to you for Mind Matters.